All right. Thank you for coming to today's session. I'd like by introducing myself. My name is Anthony Maingi, the brands and communications person at the Legacy Thrive Partners. And we are happy that you've joined us today. So today's topic is on money mindset, reset, and it's an interesting topic. And I'm glad that you guys have joined us today for you to listen to the wisdom of Vanessa. But before we get to her, let me introduce, in case you're new here and you've never heard of Legacy Tribe Partners or heard of who the founder are, what we do, let me just do that right now. So we are a faith-driven financial advisory firm dedicated to ethical stewardship, generational wealth building, and personalized financial education through crafted financial literacy programs, one-on-one sessions, and also corporate trainings. And what we do is financial planning and management, investment advisory, portfolio management, financial literacy and empowerment, group financial consultancy, and business structure and planning. So in among the things that we do, today we are focusing on number 4, which is financial literacy and empowerment, and hence free webinar, so that you can also get a chance to see what we do and even how we do it. And the person who's going to facilitate for us for this session, or rather even give us the wisdom on how to manage money, how to invest it, and even how to build a lasting legacy, is none other than Vanessa. I know you've heard of her before, but in case you haven't, let me introduce her. So Miss Vanessa Thamaini is a seasoned financial professional with over 15 years of experience in banking, and she has specialized in investment services. Her expertise spans financial management, client relationship building, product development, and strategic advisory, with a strong record solving complex client issues and fostering long-term business growth. She is the founder and lead financial advisor of Legacy Thrive Partners, which is now almost like 2 years. Kudos to her, who is passionate about empowering others to building lasting legacies through financial wisdom and holistic wellness. She is deeply committed to integrating godly principles into financial management, helping individuals and organizations achieve sustainable financial freedom and build legacies that spans generation. Outside of her professional work, she enjoys cooking, reading, traveling, and promoting healthy living. And let me just mention something about her other, besides her professional work, she also has another business. It's called Van's Kitchen, which also promotes, I'm looking at these two sides. So there's Legacy, which promotes wealth, and this other side, which is Van's Kitchen, which also promotes health. So there are two things that she has combined in her profession that build a lasting legacy. So I'd love to hear from her, and I also know that you guys also want to hear from her. Help me welcome Vanessa Thamaini to teach us today. Karibu, Vanessa.
Hi, Tony. Thank you so much.
Karibu,
Sometimes
karibu.
you don't expect the introduction. But thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much.
Karibu.
And I know I've interacted with some of you. Thank you so much for your presence here and your willingness to learn, your willingness to be challenged, to have a reset. So I am so excited. But before all that, like Tony mentioned, I really like to ground my work in godly principles. And one of those principles is that we start off with a word of prayer. So allow me to pray and then we can start. Our Heavenly Father, we give you glory, we give you honor, we exalt you this day for giving us life, for giving us strength. Thank you for seeing us through the activities of the day. We pray that, Lord, as we start off this session, that your presence will be with us. May you give us willing hearts, open minds that are able to learn, and whatever, Lord, we learn, that we may be able to apply it in our lives. We thank you for this opportunity. We do not take it for granted. And more Father, I thank you for the opportunity to be used of you, oh Lord, to impart this who have come to hear from you. And I pray that your wisdom shall come through as I speak. I give you glory, I give you honor, I exalt you. In Jesus Christ's name do I pray. Amen. Thank you so much. So today, and one thing about my session is that I love interactive sessions. I love when you ask me questions, send in the emojis, make a comment, let's have a conversation. This is not about me being the only source of knowledge. This is about us learning from each other. And so if you have any comment, any feedback, please make use of our chat box. You want to react, make use of the reactions. So let's interact as we go along. And so today our topic was, what was our topic today? So our topic today is money. So first of all, it was about money. 2, it was about mindset. Mindset talks about what's happening mentally. Then reset means there needs to be something different. There needs to be something that was set and now it is being reset. So today we want to challenge, what are those things that we have held on in our minds about money that need resetting? So without further ado, I will go on to just set the scenario, the Kenyan scenario. So lately I have been doing research on what's happening around us, and especially when it concerns financial management skills. Now, I know most of you, just like me, never got to learn anything in school about financial management. Yes, the most you got is probably from your parents telling you, here is 100 shillings, go bring me bread, milk, and sugar, and bring me change of this much. That's how you first interaction with money was. There was no structure in how you learned how to use money. And so, first of all, just looking at the statistics, these are some of the statistics I came across. So one statistic says that only 38% of Kenyans are financially literate, meaning they have the skills to learn. They have skills they have learned about how to manage money. And the other says that 80% are financially included, meaning that 80% of us have access to banking services, to mobile money, to loans, to some sense of a financial service. So you're financially included. So you're not outside of the ecosystem of money. And so yet, out of the 80, only 38% of us know how to deal with money. And out of those 38, again, the number becomes smaller because only 22% of us have a written budget or a financial plan, and one that we stick to. It's not just on paper, that we actually stick to. Now, see, this is worrying for me, because the outcome of this becomes that 90% of us don't think the habits we have around money, the way we think about money, actually affects our financial outcome. We have placed more weight on our environment and the things that affect around us more than our own habits. And even more saddening is that 40%, despite 80% being included financially, 40% of Kenyans still live below the poverty line. You guys, if this is not worrying for us, for me, it was worrying. And for me, this set forth then a question. And also another outcome was that where wealth that was gained or accumulated was often lost by the third generation. So let's say your grandfather had wealth, but by the time it gets to you as a third generation, it is gone. And there is nothing to account for it. So for me, this set a very sad Kenyan scenario. And that's why we are here, thinking something ought to change. And we're also asking, how did we end up here? So let me hear from you guys. What led us here? What led us to this, where very few of us are financially literate, yet most of us are financially included, yet still more of us think that though we are financially included, our habits do nothing to change our financial outcome. Anyone hazard a guess? Use the chat box. Walik is saying worrying statistics indeed. Yes, they are worrying. They are for me, it was alarming because this is a statistic that all of us, so if you're talking about 80%, that means if you're 10 of you, 8 of you have probably a mobile phone, a bank account, but then out of the 8 of you, only 2 of you know how to use money. That is sad. It hits home. Thank you, Alice. What do you think led us here? What factors led us here? And this is the question I want us to critically ask. How did we end up here? As Kenyans, as Africans, how did we end up here? Because I can tell you for sure, these statistics are very different from what they are in other countries. So how did we as Kenyans end up here? And I have gathered a few of those factors. So there can be 2 sides of this coin. So one, it could be that the financial results we are seeing now are shaped by forces that we can control, or they can be forces beyond us. So we have internal factors, things that are within our control, and external factors. Thank you. We're having Peter saying, what are the settings for this study, rural or urban? This is across, it is Kenyan. It's across the Kenyan scenario. It does not discriminate whether rural or urban. So even you who is urban, 38% still applies. Maurice is saying our parents were not open about talking about money. Yes, we are seeing that is one of the factors here, cultural and social settings. So there was a certain way we were culturally meant to think about money. How many of us had that we don't talk about money in this house? How many of us? How many of us were told money is not your problem? How many of us had that hakuna pesa, there is no money, so don't talk about money? Julia said financial literacy has never been incorporated into our education system as an academic discipline, and our parents had little to teach us. True. That's also another external factor. So there was lack of exposure. There was no one to teach us these things. And more so, there was no one to also teach our parents these things. So they didn't know. And it is not part of our education system. Up until now, though KICD have developed a curriculum to actually teach, it has yet to be incorporated into our system and be part of the academic discipline that Julius is talking about. No financial literacy or money, wealth creation, education from an early age. Yes, Ladida. And as much, Wallace is saying money appearing was a magic trick. Yes, we were told not to question. So what did that do? That also brought in a certain internal environment. So it taught us certain beliefs and certain attitudes and certain habits and certain mindsets around money. Yes, especially that one for Hakuna Pesa, Isaac, for sure. You know, it started instilling in you that that is your reality. But was that really your reality? We were taught to never question anything. We were not supposed to question what we were told. Diana says sometimes you don't get enough money, don't get enough exposure on how to get money. Yes, there is lack of exposure, even in terms of opportunities. And unemployment and inflation has also played a great deal, because now it has reinforced that thought that hakuna pesa, there is no money, because you're not getting a job where you can generate income, and inflation is moving way faster than you can make money. Anita says, money doesn't grow on trees. This one we had a lot. We had, I focus, money doesn't grow on trees. So you need to pursue that money. And what did that do? It created a certain habit. And that habit was pursue money above everything else. Impulse spending and poor planning. Oh, that is another internal factor. And you see, nobody tells you, be a poor planner or be an impulse spender. Does someone tell you? Somehow you find yourself in that. Why? Because there is a certain system that is already, the cogs are already turning. And so this is the outcome, is that you end up spending more. You don't plan. I've had this statement, if I had 1,000 shillings, I'd rather go eat it for pizza because it won't help me build a house. So why should I save the 1,000 shillings? But you see, that is a certain belief I have that there isn't enough to save, so why should I save? Still a complex subject by parents. Oh, it is, still is. I mean, even right now, we are the parents of this generation Alpha, but we are still having difficulties having that conversation with our children. Diane says, like many of us have been given those words like, wewe soma usijali mahali pesa itatoka. So you were not supposed to worry about money, yours was to worry about school. And so you learning about how money is used, how money is generated, none of your business. So your upbringing starts shaping you. So we found that these external factors starts shaping an internal factor. And many of us are still having this internal environment still in operation today. We are having belief systems that are really skewed and are really biased because of the way we were brought up. We are also having habits, spending habits, planning habits that are killing our future. But we almost feel out of control, like we can't control the habits that we have. Or we've had this mindset, you know what, I don't think I'll ever get rich. Or the day I get rich, you people, you will know me. You will know me. Or it gets to a place where, you know what, why should I plan? This money is never enough. It will never be enough. You know what, spend it the way it comes. So you lack financial discipline. And so this ends us up to where those staggering statistics. Now, how many of us want to change those statistics? Tree says, that is very true. I can attest that I'm in the UAE, and let me tell you, Minor, 90% of Africans in general here are financially illiterate. Imagine you have gone to UAE, you have been given an opportunity to go and earn above average Kenyan earning, and yet not being taught how to manage the money that you actually earn. So it's a big problem. So how do we solve this? How do we move? Tell me, people, how do we move from here? Is there something that needs to shift? And at what level does it need to shift? Remember, our external factors, we cannot change them. First of all, we cannot change your upbringing. You are already brought up, so here we are. Two, you didn't get exposure back then. There is nothing I can do about that. Unemployment, I mean, to a great extent, we have no control over that. And inflation. Even our culture and our social settings, there's only so much we can do. But these internal factors, this is where we can change things, because we can change the way we think about things and even counter how these external factors wired us, because that is within our control, that is within us. So I want us to define a few things. I know we mentioned this. We mentioned about attitude. So our attitude is how we look at situations, how we interpret the world around us, and that shapes how we immediately respond. So if our attitude towards money is negative, we will probably have a negative response when it comes to dealing with our money. A mindset is that framework of beliefs and assumptions. So it has settled. And that's the hardest part, because it has settled so much and it has gotten reinforced over time. It says our beliefs tend to be formed by the time we are 10 years of age. Then thereafter, it is either reinforced or challenged. So, my apologies. So if it has not been challenged, then it gets reinforced. Then our habits become an outcome of that mindset. So, and habits, these are repeated behaviors, things you find yourself doing automatically. Like if you walked into a room, what is the first thing you notice? Nobody even needs to tell you, notice this. Somehow, because of the way you have been conditioned or the way your mindset is, there are certain things that you will notice. Then to our personalities, this is who we are. It is a combination of traits and emotional patterns that shape how we decide or react. We cannot change to some great extent our personality, but we can change how we react, and we can expand how we react to the environment. Now, at the bottom of this all is the belief system. And this is a set of principles, values, and truths that individuals can use to interpret the world. So those ones shape our attitudes, they shape our mindset, they shape our habits, they shape our personality. So this here, you have a great chance of changing, of making a choice. And this is how people now start understanding their reality. Just the same way, if we saw, let me pick the example of Diana. If Diana saw something and I saw the same thing, we may interpret it differently depending on what each of us has as a belief system. So for us to be able to have, the right to be on the right path, then we must see how to readjust our belief systems, and especially around money, so that we determine right from wrong and make better decisions around money. So that Hakuna Pesa is not our slogan. We want to have a mindset that says things are possible. Yes, we may have seen, we may have experienced a world that is, challenging, but we choose to think differently about it. So these are some of the key terms, and we're going to be using them as we go along. You're going to see how all these get affected simply by this belief system. I'm seeing Lawrence says, while living in lack suddenly exposes you to a windfall, compromises your settings. Even when not a spender, you find yourself unable to control your attitude in spending versus saving or investing. Have you heard the common quote, pesa inakuongelesha? So again, we go back to the belief system, because that belief system doesn't change whether you have money or not. And as a matter of fact, it gets exposed when money comes into play. It gets to expose what kind of belief system you had. So if that belief system was pesa inakuongelesha, then whether you have it or you don't have it, that belief system stays. So if you want to change even how the kind of people we will be when we have money, you're not saying, just you wait the day I will get money. You people will know me. Instead of that, it would be like, the day I will get money, I will have this kind of impact in the world around me. So the conversation changes. So money is not going to change you. Money is going to come and expose what kind of belief system you have. Diana says, your money mindset shapes your financial future. definitely changes the way you think about money and the way you manage it. Tumia pesa ikuzoe. I will come. Let me, Anita, you have introduced the next step of this presentation, because I want us to see what are those belief systems we have. Anita has said one, tumia pesa ikuzoe. Use money, it gets used to you. But does money get used to you because you spending it, or does it get used to you by you keeping it? Pesa itakuosha. Money will clean you up. Does it? Were you clean before the money, or the money is the one that cleans you up? So I have written some of the beliefs I have had around money. Money is a means to an end, or is it an end to itself? So either you're, it's a carrot or a stick. Are you seeing money as what gets you to the end or gets you to your goal? Or are you seeing money as the goal itself? Then there is money is the ultimate goal in life. If you have not gotten money, you have not succeeded, you have done nothing with your life. Money is limited, so we must fight for it. So everyone, resources are limited, let us all rush. So I will, push and shove and pull my side until I get all the money. And I do not care what other people feel or think in that whole process. Then we have those ones who think finances influences all areas of our lives. So if you do not have finances, there's a famous saying about finances and dating. I mean, we've had them. And that shows you some of the beliefs we have about money. I cannot date a broke man. And it becomes money is the focus for everything. Then instant gratification. I do not want to wait till tomorrow when I can have it today. So I will borrow so that I have what I need today. I do not care whether I will have to pay it tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And so we live for today only, and we live for now. Then there are those of us on the other side who think money is very spiritual. So I have to go and give a 310 so that I appease, and that's the way it has. I will get money. Nyota yangu imeibiwa. So someone has gone away with my star for money. So I have to get it back. I have to do certain, yes, manifesting. I have to manifest. I have to speak into these hands, speak into these hands, and money will come your way. Oh, and the famous one for Kikuyus, yeah, feel an itch on your palm, money is coming. And we place a lot of beliefs around money. Debt is okay as long as I can pay it back. It does not matter what I picked it for. It does not matter how long I picked it for, so long as I know I will pay it back. So I am not taking into account why I picked it, how long I'm going to take to pay it, how much interest I'm going to pay on it. As long as it is easily available, and loan apps have done that, easily available, and you can just, on a click of a button, and you have money. I will invest and save when I have enough money. How much is enough? I ask you, how much is enough? How much is enough for you to invest? What other beliefs do people have around money? Let's see whether we can debunk some of this. Because today we are here to reset our mind, to see that certain things we have thought of are actually holding us back to where we should be financially. Because we have had belief systems that are founded on nothing. Some of these are just founded on fear, founded on the wrong premise, founded on cultural beliefs that were passed down and we have never questioned. passed down by generations that lived in, in a very different context than we are living right now. And yet we have not challenged them. Money will come back. Oh, wherever it had gone, it will come back. Kate, if it goes to America, it will come back to you. You worry not. You just sit pretty. Wait, money will come back. So today we want to challenge that. And I want us to think and think critically and just to set the tone. There is a lot of things we have believed that really we should just let go. So I have been reading a book called The Psychology of Money, and probably some of you have read this book. For Peter says, the more you tithe, the more heavens will open to give you more. There's a bit of truth in that, but then there's a certain belief there. I mean, heaven is not at your mercy. Is not your, so sort of it's you're using it like an ATM. I just go click and then I'll get back, like the way you do deposit in your account, then you come and withdraw from ATM. Yeah, although there is also some truth on the other side that tithing does something to you, but it's not even so much about the heavens opening up to give you more. It is about stewardship, but we'll get to that. Now, Psychology of Money. So I've been reading this book by Morgan Housel, and he makes a bold statement at the opening of that book. And he says, money has little to do with how smart you are and more to do with how you behave. And behavior is harder to teach, even to smart people. In his book, he then goes on to break down some money myths and beliefs we have held about financial breakthrough or wealth creation. And I'll just go overview on some of them. So this is just summarize them into these five into five. Let's call them acts. So the 5 acts of just breaking down those beliefs. One is false confidence. Here is where, first of all, he says about smart people. And smart people think they are logical. Yet their logic is still dependent on the beliefs they have, the biases they have, what the cultural, environment they are in, the social environment they are in, and even their past. So even the logic they have has been shaped by something in their upbringing, something in their exposure. So what you may call logic may not be essentially logic to somebody else. So they may also think that they are in control. So you have false confidence that you are in control. But unfortunately, we are rarely in control. As we have seen, there will be external factors that you have no control over. And they can be random events in our lives that can change the course of our lives, good or bad. And he gives the example of the guy who, Apple, Steve Jobs. So he says, when Steve Jobs was in campus, he had a computer. And in the same campus, there was another guy, as genius as he was, who was in the same campus. And they both, they had brilliant minds. They were really thinking, and they had this. It was the only computer in the whole university, and it happened to be in the university they were in. Now, unfortunately, before this other guy finished campus, he fell off during a hiking event and died. Steve Jobs left campus and became, an inventor of one of the biggest things up to date. And he made a lot of money. Now, both of them had been given the same opportunity, but one random event that was in control of neither one changed the course of both their lives. It charted different courses. So again, in our lives, we cannot assume that we are somehow in control, even our finances. So Morgan says that these random events can happen to anyone. So today you can actually wake up tomorrow and you have won the lottery. Or, tomorrow wake up and you have a life debilitating disease that wipes out all your finances. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's the reality of life, that good and bad things can happen. And the randomness of it all is beyond our control. Now, he says that to caution us so that we don't live with that false confidence, like somehow we are smart enough to deal with our money and to create wealth. Yet, some people got there, or the people we are looking up to probably got there because of some random event that happened in their favor. So he also says that on the other flip side is that we also don't get so down on ourselves when things don't work out, because many times things are not within our control. And two, could be the story you're telling yourself is not reality. So you tell yourself, my family was poor, I have black tax to pay, things are bad. And so you have believed that story and you have made it your reality. But many times, that reality, that story is not the reality. So you have to look at facts. And many times this story is shaped by the biases we have picked along the way. And so you have to start thinking critically. Am I telling myself a story, or am I seeing reality? Reality is you can make money in the stock market, but the story you tell yourself is that stock market is very risky. Yes, it is very risky, but you can also make money. So you keep telling yourself, you know what, me, I don't do risky things. But is that reality? If you actually did something, and we are told about the story of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett started investing at 10 years. He got rich at 65. But he consistently did that for the 55 years. So you are waiting until the day you're feeling, a little bit less risky. Then I can take that plunge. So you keep telling yourself a story, but in essence, it's not reality. Teresia, kindly mute. Thank you. Number 2 is the emotional hijack. This is where our emotions tend to play a great deal, more than we want to admit, about our financial decisions. We are told don't go shopping when you're hungry. It's because you're likely to be emotional and make emotional decisions when you're hungry. So you're likely to impulse buy, you're likely to buy useless things, and so we are cautioned because emotions can really push us to have an immediate response, an immediate reaction without thinking through and without staying to their plan. And he says, Morgan says that sometimes the stuff we admire or we look at, we think that is what will make us to be admired. So we pursue things so that other people can admire us. So people can see me driving a GLE. And that's why I'll be so much in pursuit of money so that I buy a GLE and others can see. What he supposes is the person who is looking at me with the GLE is not thinking of me. He's actually thinking of himself in my GLE. True or false? If I told you right now, I live in a mansion in Runda, the first thing you will do is not even envy me. You'll be thinking of yourself living in that mansion in Runda. And that is because we are emotional beings and we will place ourselves first. We have egos, and our egos will push us to think of ourselves more. So when you're picking up things and showing others by, you're buying an expensive car so that others can see you have money, then you'll be sadly mistaken, because they are not looking at you and envying you. They are thinking how they themselves can get there. So everyone is thinking about themselves. No one is actually thinking about you. 2, the thing you think people will admire you for is rarely those flashy things. Usually they are value-based, character-based traits that people admire more. I want to be as patient as Wallace is. And that becomes a thing of admiration. And they can admire him for the works he has done with the youth. And that's what we want to be admired for, not for these shiny things that we are buying. And 2, he says that looking rich rarely means being rich. People having that latest iPhone does not by any means show that you're rich. As a matter of fact, someone sees how much money you spent on that, whereas that money would have gone to something of better value. And if your motivation was for somebody else to see, then you're missing out on the whole point of wealth creation. The people who are really wealthy are rarely flashy. And so we have to change that mindset. And that is how most of us will get into debt, will get into the wrong financial decisions, because we are pursuing looking rather than being rich. Then, the hidden rules of money. There are a lot of rules of money. And rarely do any of us question what did these people do who got a lot of money? What did they do? But I'll give you some of them, just a few. Most of us want the gains, but don't want the ride. Now, for the really wealthy people, they enjoy the ride more than the destination. So the process of making money, of creating wealth, becomes a journey that is enjoyable, a journey that spurs you, so that you're looking at the end game and you're thinking, right now, I do not need to be hurried. If things go wrong, you're not immediately panicking. So if you had invested in the stock market and the stock market has gone down, you're not seeing that as something to shake you. Like, okay, as a matter of fact, this offers an opportunity for me to get in even more, because I know the market will come back up again. We've seen markets go up, then go down, then go up again. So you're not worried. So you're enjoying the ride. As a matter of fact, when the market is going up and down, you're just enjoying the ride. And that's what really wealthy people do. They enjoy that ride. They enjoy the process of saving. They enjoy the process of investing. And they don't think of it as this really tough thing to do. 2, the other thing is, getting rich is the hardest. Most of us think getting rich is the hardest bit. But actually, staying rich is the hardest bit. Remember what you said about random events. So something can happen to you, and somehow a windfall comes your way, and you have a lot of money at your disposal. Now, your biggest task at that point is staying rich. Same thing, you can have accumulated over a period of time. But many of us, staying rich longer is where it becomes hard, because that needs a different level of discipline than even trying to get rich. And this is how the people who have been wealthy over generations have known how to stay rich more than make rich. So they're not chasing small wins. So if I have $100 million, then I'm not chasing another $1 million. I'm looking of how making my $100 million go further. Because what happens is that when you start getting greedy, that is how you end up not staying rich for too long. Lawrence says mob psychology, especially of your measure success based on your peers, workmates' success. No one discloses how and where they're investing or doing, buying cars and other depreciating assets just to fit in. A mistake one gets to realize later in life. Thank you. Frugal living is not a priority until life happens. Oh, that's a tough one. You know, nobody will tell you to be frugal. You know, you're by the time you're coming from a high to a low, nobody will need to tell you that you need to save. But then again, we can also be in that cycle where, yes, we are getting, then we are losing, but we never learn the lesson. And still back when you go back up again, we are still doing the same things. And this is why it is very important for us to arrest our belief systems, because that's where it needs to change, so that no matter what is happening, then you still have a very solid foundation. And then the other one, long game. Most of the wealthy people played the long game. Like I said, Warren Buffett was he was buying shares since he was 10 years, and he actually got wealthy at 65. So one reality is some of us may never get rich in this lifetime. But the thing is, you have to know it's a long game. It could be a game for your generations to come. It could be that it is not you who's going to get wealthy. It's your children or their children, you know? And so most people who want to gain wealth play for the long term. And also the market favors. It says, don't time the market, do time in the market. The longer you stay in the market, the more you're likely to make more. So, and the longer you're consistent, the more you're likely to make wins, and wins that last you for longer. Hii short game, you just want, you hear someone is setting up this WhatsApp group, and they're telling you, if you come in, you put in 5,000, tomorrow you'll have 10,000. And you think, yeah, finally, these guys have known I needed money and I needed it right now. And you get in. I can tell you, as short a game as it is how short also you will end up losing. But the really wealthy people and the people who want to create lasting wealth play for the long term. They do not underestimate the power of time. And that's what Warren Buffett did. It's not that he had a lot of money, but he accumulated little by little, little by little. And then there is this thing called compounding of interest. Oh, that is what time does. That is the magic trick. It compounds. Once you put it, what was 1 shilling in 20 years is 100,000 more. That is the beauty of compounding. And that is why we have to think long term. Long term. We not need to think short term. It could mean in the short term that you're doing that frugal living, but in the long term, you're actually able to achieve, because time is a multiplier. And as long as we make the right decision today, then 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you will see the effect. And I can tell you, it is astounding. We want all to be in the levels of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett came from nowhere. Guys didn't expect him. But he had been consistently, over all those years, consistently doing the thing he needed to do. Then, becoming the person who wins in the long term. The person who will win in the long term needs to be a different person from the person who exists today. This person needs to have challenged their belief system, challenged their habits and behaviors, and said, you know what? I need a different outcome. And so, because I need this different outcome, then I need to change things, the way I see them, the way I do them, the habits I have, and see what is that thing? What is that thing? And I commend you, please go read this book. It will challenge a lot of things you have thought about money. Go read it. I have barely even scratched the surface of it. So, and most of us forget that with time, we're going to change. The person you are when you are in your, what do you call it, toddler stage, is not the same person you are in your teenage stage. It's not the same person you are in your early adulthood, later adulthood. And you can be sure you will not be the same person as you age, as time passes by. So you must account for human error, or our humanity in it all. So sometimes we have plans, and this I'm speaking to the people who have a plan and you stick to that plan with no changes. Please remember, your plan is a living document, just the same way as you are. And it needs to have the flexibility to adjust with you as a person, so that we are not feeling so aggrieved when things don't go our way. Remember, those random events can go either way. So we need to have even plans that are flexible enough to allow us to live as human beings. That's why I'm not of the school of thought that you need to be so frugal you never even enjoy any part of life. So you can't buy yourself a KFC once in a while. Please go enjoy that KFC. You need to know how KFC tastes. I'm not saying make it a daily habit, but allow some sense of entertainment, some sense of release even for you. So even as we plan for this future. The person that we are becoming is a person who is willing, first of all, to look at themselves critically, see what belief systems we have, see where those things have been rooted, start addressing them now. Yes, they may have been formed by the time you're 10 years, but right now you're an adult and you have every opportunity to address them and to make different choices. Thank you, Julius. I feel like the webinar was timely to change my overall behavior with money. I didn't grow in a rich family. I see myself working hard, but I can't see the fruits. Thank you for that introspection, Julius. Yes, we want to change. We want to have different outcomes. He says we cannot expect different results when you keep doing the same things over and over. So we want to move from a scarcity mindset to a stewardship mindset. And that means we need to reassess those things we have had and reframe them differently. So if you have had, this is never enough, or there will be never enough, then you remember that God is the one who holds everything in his hands and his resources are limitless. Does not mean that Warren Buffett is the richest man on earth and so he has taken everything. No, you can also be the richest man in the world. Money need not be a source of anxiety. Money can now be a tool. And it doesn't master you. You master the money. Then Houdin, we are not living in fear. We are not living in envy of others. Now we are living in generosity, in faith, in gratitude, in contentment. We are also not reactive. We are not always seeing things and, powering and going to try and change things because things have changed around us. We are more proactive because we have planned ahead. We have seen the things that could go wrong. We have allowed for that margin of error. So we are not worried. And then now we move from money controls me. Money does not need to control you. Money does not need to influence every area of your life. Money does not need to influence where you work, who you hang out with, what you eat. It does not. Because now you can manage money faithfully and you become the one who tells your money where it goes and what it does. So, and I love scripture because the word of God is full of a lot of wisdom around money. And Philippians 4:11-12 says, I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. Ladies and gentlemen, contentment. And contentment doesn't mean that we are not ambitious, it means that we are grateful where we are. Even as we are striving for more, we are not being pushed by external factors. and internal systems that are not well aligned. And now we are making conscious choices. Now, like we say, there are certain laws about money. I won't go into depth with these ones. These ones I want you to go and just find out what are some of these things. There are so many. This is just a sample of them. But we say law of spoken words. The words we say reinforces a certain belief in you. So be careful about the things you keep saying. It keeps reinforcing something. Law of stewardship means if you have been given something, however little, when you are stewarding it well, when you're managing it well, then more is likely to come your way. That is what happens to wealthy people. They have more and more is added to them because they have learned to manage the one they have been given. And then law of giving. Generosity does not mean that you have lost. As a matter of fact, it means you have sown a seed. And that seed someday will bring a harvest. So for those of us who think generosity is you losing something, this is one law that applies to you. Then the law of season. Like I said, I mean, events can happen. You can have a season of luck. You can have a season of abundance. The thing is, you are resilient enough to go through the seasons and know the seasons you're in and readjust accordingly. The law of service, understanding other people's needs. This is where opportunities to even do business by providing solutions to other people comes in. Law of gratitude, being thankful for all you have. I can assure you, everyone here has something to be grateful for. And then the law of reciprocity. Whatever you reap, that is whatever you sow, that is what you will reap. So finances are not exempt from these laws. These are universal laws. I can assure you applies to every area of your life. But in this case, we are talking about finances. And so they are not exempt from these laws. And there are many more you can go and research. And you will see how even you can study the wealthy people. They will tell you some of these things they did and some of the laws they abide to. And they have seen it bring that wealth, it keep that wealth, and it generate wealth for the next generation. Peter says, building wealth does not require sudden windfalls, massive salaries, or even strong willpower. It requires everyday behavioral shifts that stop money from leaking. Oh, I couldn't have said it better. Some of us are waiting for, oh, when I get that promotion, when I get that bonus, mimi nimeomoka. But the people who have created wealth and lasting wealth never had windfalls. It's those small adjustments they made every day. It's how they challenged themselves. It's how they stayed consistent. And like we said, time is a multiplier. So those things you have consistently been doing, those are the things. This is the same way. The bad habits you have been consistently doing are leading you to financial ruin. It's the same way. Good habits will lead you to financial freedom. Before we go to this scenario, any questions, any comments? You can unmute and ask. I think have I read everything on the chat? You can also send your questions or comments on the chat. Anyone? Or I can proceed because I want us to do this part together. So I have set here scenario 1. We have Mary. Please, if you're called Mary, this is in no way connected to you. Mary is just a random person. How do you separate a genuine money mindset shift from just short-term motivation that fades in a few weeks? Now, Sang, I don't know whether that's your name, but this is the thing. For anything to have lasting effect is that you must consistently keep doing it. This is where this is just the start. So I've just given you a start. Now, the next step for you to take is to see how this applies to you specifically, and for you to interrogate yourself, and then challenge the mindset you have, and ask, do I have the right mindset? Am I, moving towards the right mindset? And if I am, then who can help me? Then you start seeking those places where you can actually be helped to move. And one of the things we do here at Legacy is that we have programs that we work with you for over 12 weeks to keep challenging some of these things and to equip you with the right tools, so that you're not just motivated. And then thereafter, we make it so practical, so that if you're saying you're doing a financial plan, we're actually sitting down with you and we are doing that financial plan. But at the bottom of it is that you will need discipline. That discipline I cannot instill in you. Like Morgan Housel was saying, smart people, you can also change their habits or their behaviors. So that will take a personal initiative on you to keep pursuing. And then you create habits that keep reinforcing it. Keep reinforcing it. Emma says, I'm glad we are having these conversations and trainings as it sets the standards for our next generation. Yes. We don't want our generation to keep saying that, the external factors that apply to our parents, like lack of exposure, is still the same thing, even in their generation. So let's go to this scenario. We have Mary, who's a wife and a mother of 3. She works for an NGO. She's earning a net salary of 400,000. She lives in Kileleshwa and her children go to an international school. Her husband covers most of the bills as he earns more than her. But despite earning well, she's unable to save or invest for the future. Now, we've put there a sample of Mary's budget. Question: what are the underlying issues with Mary's financial habits? We've learned about belief systems, we've learned about behaviors and habits. What's the one thing you can pick out from here? Quickly, just put on the chat, or you can unmute and say, anyone? Underlying issues you're seeing here about Mary's financial habits? Anything? Or is her budget okay? As you can see, her budget, she has an income of 400, but her expenditure at 480, and so she always have a monthly gap of 80,000. Loans, yes, Emma, she has loans. She has personal loans, which are mostly loan apps. She has a car loan. What's the problem with those? Eating out. What? She can't eat out. Family upkeep. That black. Yes, she's paying black tax. She has family upkeep of 50,000. Impulse buying. Lawrence, how did you arrive to that? How is she impulse buying? What have you seen there? What's wrong with the loans? Someone tell me what's wrong with the loans. Isaac says, how is personal grooming 50K? Thank you.
Compounding
so she's spending...
interest.
Sorry, yes, Mark.
Compounding interest.
Compounding interest.
Yes.
That compounding interest on her loans, eh?
Yes.
Another thing that she has no savings or emergency funds.
Mm-hmm.
She may keep borrowing whenever unexpected expenses rises.
Yes. But are you seeing even her expenses are not unexpected? Because you can see her loans, I mean, those ones are expected, they are set. Fuel, probably she goes to work, so that one is done. Chamas, she's probably signed up to Chamas, she's doing this. Groceries in the house, I mean, set. Personal grooming, now unless she decides this is the level she wants to be at, then that she does not even have things that you're saying, out of this world. But there is a certain allocation to certain things. So she has poor spending habits, yes, because personal grooming Why would it take 50,000? Ladies, me, I do short hair, so I don't know if hair takes up this much in terms of an expense. But my biggest worry here is about her loans. Because guess what? The car loan can stay because she needs a car, but the personal loans means she is sustaining this gap using those loans. So because this month she has the gap of 80, she has to borrow to bridge that gap. The next month, again, this gap comes up again. She has repaid off her loan, but then she has to borrow again. So now she's in a cycle of borrowing. So what do you think Mary should do? What do you think she should do? What's the one thing you can pick that she can do? But even as we get to that, are we seeing a certain belief that she has regarding spending? Please read that, Nini. She works for an NGO. She lives in Kileleshwa, and her children go to an international school. So she's trying to keep up appearances. And that is why, probably, why her personal grooming has gone up 50,000. Because, I mean, you need to have the latest clothes, you need to have the latest wigs or whatever, you know, you need to look the part. You are Kileleshwa mom. You know, this is how even her eating out will cost that much because probably she's trying to keep up. So she has believed that she needs to have an outward display of her level of earning. But that is compromising her future. And it's compromising even the now, because if anything happens and she loses this job, then the family no longer even now just has the 80,000 gap. Now they will have a 480 gap. So these are some of the belief systems, because even before we change her budget, then Mary needs to readjust how she thinks about spending. What does she need to address first? What does she need to address first? She is living large beyond her means. See grooming 50K budget. Yes, Peter. Emma says, having too many loans causes severe financial strain, overwhelming interest repayments. Yeah. Julia says, 70,000. What should she eat enough? Good question. So maybe they need to readjust the food they are eating in the house, and maybe eat also less outside and eat more at home. She should meal prep and ease on personal loans. Yes. So again, to get out of the cycle of these personal loans, then she needs to start easing out of them. As she cuts back on some of her spending, then she cuts back on what she's borrowing. So that month on month, she has less on personal loans, and that will be able to release money to go towards her saving and investing. Impulse buying, her budget may not be constant. True. Because if already we can see personal grooming, probably there are months maybe her personal grooming goes higher than that. Loan apps tend to have very high interest rate, for sure. So probably even this 120, majority of it she's paying in interest, not even the amount she borrowed. With a salary of 400,000, 120K, mobile money does not match, too much, yes. So probably she started off and then somehow got herself into this cycle. So it already started off with bad spending. Then to cover the bad spending, she went into the loans. Mary is overborrowing and living beyond her means, causing her to depend on loans instead of building financial stability. Let her get salary and first clear the 120. Yes. First get off that train of, of the recurring loans, because she just needs to, and even, what car loan is this at 80,000? What kind of a car is she driving? Are the loans for productive reasons? If they are for consumption, then she should stop digging the hole she's currently in. She should have a repayment plan for her loans that will reduce the most expensive to the least. Thank you. See, you guys, you've already learned this. You already can see. Now, can I turn back this? Sang said she should seek financial advice or credit counseling if she finds it difficult to manage her debt. For sure, if you cannot get yourself out of the hole, then seek help and seek accountability, someone who will help you walk. Now, let me challenge you that some of us may not be at the levels of Mary, but we are somewhere in this scenario. So Amina is a wife also and a mother of 3 also. She works as an administrative officer and earns a net salary of 150,000. Her husband pays the rent and contributes towards the children's school fees, while they jointly plan the rest of their household expenses. So this is what comes back to Amina's budget. So for Amina, her monthly income is 150, her monthly spending is 150. Now, can you pinpoint anything that Amina is doing right? Anything she's doing right? As you can see, Amina is still handling almost similar things as Mary was handling. But what is she doing right that that you can pinpoint? Our chat is open. So what is Amina doing right? Anyone has a comment? You can also unmute.
So she is prioritizing saving and investing, setting aside shillings 25,000 every month.
Yeah. So she does have an aspect of savings, so she can accumulate either for her emergency fund or some investment of some financial goal. So she has accounted for that in her budget. Anything else? Retirement and insurance. What is so good about that? Welik, what's good about the insurance and retirement? Unlike Mary, she has eluded mobile borrowing. Yes, as you can see, she does not have any loans. Despite earning less than Mary, Amina is not borrowing. So she still goes to work. So as you can see, there's an aspect of transport, but she does not have a car loan. What is this about retirement and insurance? Why is that a good thing? Cyrus or Welly, you can tell us. What is and even as we are discussing this, what mindset does she seem to have? What mindset? What can you pick up? Yes, Meshach.
So what's important about the insurance is the insurance protects her from financial emergencies such as the illness and accidents.
Yes. So it's taking care of the random events, and this is why it is important for her to have it. So she has accounted for in case of, things happening that are out of her control. So she's given her family a level of protection. Anything else? Are we seeing that as much as the husband pays the rent and contributes towards the children's school fees, that they jointly plan? That's very critical, because Amina and her husband are looking at where do they want to be and then planning towards it. So planning here is key. So they are not just doing things as they come along, they are also planning. But also see another similarity between Amina and Mary is that they also have entertainment. But look at the level at which this entertainment has been given in terms of allocation. So we are not saying that Amina can't have some fun, can't eat out, but there is control in how she does that. Are there any financial, sorry, I can't see this clearly. Tony, financial goals that you can identify here? Any financial goal that you can notice for Amina and her husband? Anyone? Yes, she's safeguarding herself from unexpected happenings, say falling ill, and also protects her during her old age. Thank you, Ellie. Sang says she has a long-term, she has a long-term wealth building mindset, not just a spending mindset. Very important. Yeah, so she's not just thinking for now. She's like, okay, now I have here and I appreciate who I am, but I'm building for the future. So what financial goals are you seeing here? Now that she has this mindset, that she's looking at the long term, what is this goal that she's looking to achieve? Anything we can pick out? And maybe also in comparison to what Mary has? Is there a goal? Just one. Yes, Meshach.
Amina's financial goal is to achieve a long-term financial security by saving and investing, planning for retirement, and also protecting her family through insurance. I think those are the goals.
Yeah. So she has generational wealth in mind, and you can see that in the way she spends and in the allocations she has towards what is there in the future. And also, the other financial goal she has is that spending is not prioritized, in the sense that, yes, she covers what she needs to cover right now, but she is also looking forward and saying, hey, I will have a future, or my children will have a future. I need to prepare for it. And that's why she's saving, she's investing. She's taking advantage, no matter where she is financially, because financially, she's not earning more than Mary. But she has taken that conscious step to say, even when I'm not earning much, I will put away some towards savings and investment and to my retirement. Yes, so these are the two scenarios. And I want us to pick that the key lessons here. The key lessons is that we must be forward thinking. We cannot be limited by where we are right now. We have to be forward thinking. It does not matter how much you're earning. It matters how you behave right now. And that behavior will shape the financial outcome later. Because later is coming. And we will know what kind of habits and behaviors you had in your past because of how your future will look like. So I plead to us that we may take the lessons and run with them and learn to build a different mindset around money so that we have better financial outcomes. Now, I know someone had mentioned about money leaking habits. And these are just summarizing, just in summary, what they could be. So one is emotions. We talked about this. Unregulated emotions will quietly drain your money. So if when you feel sad, you go for that chocolate bar. When you feel happy, you go out and drink. When you are responding emotionally to anything, sooner or later, it will show up. In your balance sheet, it will show up. Two, comparison. We all live totally different lives. Even if you are born in the same house, your outcome or life events that happen to you can set you both on very different courses. So we cannot live comparing ourselves. And social media has worsened this one because you see someone and you assume that is what is the standard. And so you start comparing yourself and you see how far behind you are or how not well enough you are. And then it destroys your contentment levels. 2, borrowing. Borrowing, as we have seen how it has really eaten into Mary's opportunities. She could be saving way more than Amina, but borrowing has really eaten into it. Then lack of discipline. Undisciplined expense planning lets money disappear. As in, if you don't plan, then you're planning to fail. And money follows the roadmap you set it. So if there is no roadmap, then it will go everywhere and nowhere. So you need to give it a plan. You need to give it a road. You need to tell it is going to Mombasa and follow through. And follow through. If you're setting a budget, then you're following your budget. And again, all this is just based on what we believe, what our mindset is. Then greed, wanting more, can destroy what you already have. I can tell you most of you have a lot right now, but greed can take away even that which you already have. So guard yourself. Luke chapter 12:15, it says, guard yourself from greed. Watch out. It says, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Money is spiritual because God is the giver of that money. He has already set laws and principles that guide how we manage money. And it follows discipline, obedience, and lordship. You must be in control of your money. If God is not Lord over your money will control you. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is just a bit, I mean, it's just the little knowledge I have, the little wisdom I have. But I beseech thee that you will go out there and you will equip yourself with as much knowledge, with as much information about money management so that you can be better managers of your money. And also we can get to, challenge the belief systems we have, the habits we have picked up, and see whether they align to leading us to where we make wealth, keep wealth, and pass it on to the next generation. So, ladies and gentlemen, unless there are questions, I'd like to hand over back to Tony. Any questions? Yes, Meshach. Thank you for being a very present participant. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Vanessa. So my question is, since Kenya is the highest financial inclusion rates in Africa via mobile money, yet financial literacy remains low. Does legacy strives see inclusion without literacy as progress or as some different kind of risk?
At Legacy, we see this is a loophole. Because what happens is, if you place more money in someone's hands who does not know how to manage that money well, you do not make that one a better, or rather, they will keep that wealth for long. And that's why we're saying wealth that is accumulated gets lost by the third generation because we have not been taught how to manage that wealth. So it's a huge gap. And that's why we came up with Legacy Tribe Partners, because we want to help bridge that gap between financial inclusivity and financial literacy. And that's why we have programs that are geared towards bridging that gap. This is just one. We have a 12-week program. Maybe we have this program. It's called the Legacy Building Program. In this program, we work with you for 12 weeks, teaching you those key skills that you need to manage your money and the things you need to know about money. Because you see, these were not taught to us. Even how to challenge those belief systems was not taught to us. 2, we expose you to what investment options are there, what saving tools are there, what tools are there to help you manage your money. 3, we put you in a room with experts. By the way, I only teach 2 classes out of the 12. The rest are taught by experts in their fields, and they will teach you many topics. They will teach you about even personal branding, like how do you place yourself? How do you seek out your purpose? How do you live a fulfilled life? We will talk about legacy building. How do you, make sure that the things you have earned right now still pass on to the next generation and stays beyond the 3rd generation. So this program starts on the 10th of August. So please sign up. I'm telling you, sign up. I have seen some of the graduates from the last program, and they can tell you we had testimonials and transformative stories of guys who've gone through this and gained the tools they needed. And that's the part we are playing as legacy, is that we are helping bridge that gap. Many organizations will offer this at a premium. We are offering it at only 5,000 shillings for 12 weeks. Every Monday, we come in, we learn, we question, we ask, and then we grow together. So please, Sang, these opportunities are there for you to learn.
I'll make sure I chip in.
Yes, please join. And today we are offering, by the way, we have an offer that whoever joined this call today gets a 10% off the 5,000. So you only pay 4,500. So take advantage of that offer. It only lasts today, but because you logged in today, we are giving that offer to you. Leah says, expound more on couple planning together. What is that saying? It says, if 2 do not agree, they cannot work together. So as couples, like Amina did, is that they jointly sat down and made a plan. You see, as long as you're married, and finances is one way that you're also married, those are things that you need to sit down. And here at Legacy, we help you sit down as a couple and identify, first of all, those belief systems, because we all come with different belief systems, how to align those belief systems and to have one as a couple. Then we help you come up with a plan that works for both of you, that works towards the family, not just one of you. Because you can find one is a very good saver, the other one is a very good spender. And both of them have merits. So we come and sit down with you and we help you create a plan that speaks to your financial goals. So Leah, if you want to know more, please feel free. Our contacts are there. And I think we will share our contacts. Join our WhatsApp community, follow us. Today we have dropped something big on our YouTube. Please go check out. Just type in Legacy Thread Partners and you'll be able to see some of the things we did in the last program and what will be happening and what is happening even right now as we speak. How do you distinguish someone who has a genuine mindset shift from someone who's just temporarily inspired after a webinar like this? It will be the outcome. That outcome, I mean, it will not even be me assessing. It will be, has their lives changed? Is there something? So you're inspired, you're very inspired. But you see, even the Bible talks about the parable of the seeds. There's those ones that fell on rocks, those ones that fell on thorns, but there are those ones that fell on fertile soil. So be it that today it falls on fertile soil, we will know by the fruits. So we will know by the fruits, for sure. What if one spouse is not working? I've tried that. My wife keeps saying, it's my money. I do what I feel is good. Julius, I feel you. And it's tough when both of you are not reading from the same book. But again, you must always seek for forward, moving forward rather than moving backwards. So seeking what can repair this? How can we move forward? And seek for even a third party who can come in, help you align, and so that you're moving the same direction. I don't do couple counseling, not by any, but seeking couple counseling from, a good and solid mindset, first of all, to just align your values. Then by the time you're coming to me to help align your finances, then they'll be based on a good value system. So I think that, honestly, I cannot say I have that expertise, but I'm sure in your circle there is. And then we will help you plan. We'll help you plan. So thank you so much. If there are no more questions, Wallace, karibu sana. Glad to have you here. Again, the offer stands 10% off. Please sign up today. Tony, please share the link here.
Oh, the link for the program.
Yes, please share the link so that anyone who wants to sign up, we have a very easy payment plan. You can do the first installment and then the subsequent one in the next month. So at least you can pay twice, and it can ease up on your budget. Again, we are very conscious about a budget. So is 10% off today only. No, 10% is available for you who logged in today. So but for anyone else, they were getting the 10%, it was ending today. But because you logged in today, you have the 10% off anytime you want to join. Sawa, please tell your friends, go out there. We will be putting this in our socials. It will be in our WhatsApp community. Tony, please also put the link for the WhatsApp community so that those ones who are not yet there, they can join us and they can follow what we are doing. And we keep having these webinars also. You can also engage us for a one-on-one. Please feel free. I'm always available. So the first one you put is for the YouTube. Yes. So when you click on our YouTube channel, today we are launching a podcast. And on that podcast, we'll be featuring many people. Could be you next that we are featuring, saying you, because of the things you have done, you have transformed your life and you can speak to the lives of others. So karibuni sana. Any more questions? I think we're already above time. We're very conscious about time here. So Tony, over to you.
Just to add onto the program, it will be happening every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. The sessions will be recorded, of course, and we'll be sharing the recordings periodically, not after every session. We realize that it's a 12-week, so after the 4th session, we'll be sharing the records for the 4, and then the next 4, like that. The training, of course, it's online, so we'll be sharing also the presentations after the 4 sessions as well, together with the recordings. And at the end of the program, we are giving you a certificate just to validate that you went through a 12-week online financial literacy training, just to show, legitimately you passed through a session, a financial training session. And we look forward to having you show up and sign up for it. And trust me, it will be beneficial to you and to your next generation. Yeah. I think the other thing that we've not probably shown here is that Vanessa has also one-on-one sessions that you can book on the side for her. So I can share her contacts, and then you can, if you need a session, one-on-one session, you can book with her, and then she will be able to cater or even schedule you for a one-on-one session. Yeah, I don't think I've left anything else, but just to thank everybody for coming and just for taking the time. We know that time is valuable, and also that time is money, now that we're discussing about money. And we assure you've not wasted your time. I pray that you've gotten something valuable from this session. Let me Do you have the WhatsApp link? I'm looking for the WhatsApp link. I can't get it.
Yeah, let me share it. Just a moment.
And see, Meshach has asked for it. But yeah, just to conclude, we are grateful for you guys taking your time to share, to come and join us for today. Please take advantage of the 10% discount. And yeah, come and join us for the 12 sessions. We'll be having many speakers. The program that we had 8 facilitators who came and taught us on different topics on financials. And we also had over, I'd say 60 participants. I think we have a video that we showcased on YouTube as well. You can just go and just see how happy the participants were, and even just to receive the certificates. And it would be nice for you also to experience the same. So yeah, we are grateful and we look forward to having you in the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karibuni sana. It's been such an honor and a privilege to just take you through this session. And I pray that the seed we have planted, you shall go and water it and it shall give a big harvest. Please come on board. We have so much that we have for you at Legacy. Engage with us, follow us, see what we are doing. And we also keep updating you of any opportunities for you to learn, so that we are not withholding what we learned ourselves. So once you join our community, we keep sharing. Any opportunities that come up, we share with you. Karibuni sana. May God bless you. May He watch over you this evening, and may it be well with you. All the best in your lives, and hope to see you on the program.